He does nothing for me.
Oh, I can't even tell you, Joe, it's been a crazy 2.5 weeks. Oh my God, I just want to say to everyone at home, listen, if you ever get the chance to do something and you're scared to do it, you should definitely do it, because there's a chance it's going to pay off.
Disrespectful way possible, but this wasn't trash talk. It was personal. The insult came with years of pent-up resentment, and what Jones said off camera revealed exactly why he's been.
He does nothing for me. That's what Jon Jones said about Tom Aspinall. But what if I told you that wasn't the full picture? What if Jones's dismissive words actually hide a deep fear, a smart way to avoid a fight from someone who knows he's finally met his match? In the next few minutes, we're going to look closely at this growing rivalry and uncover the real reasons Jon Jones is avoiding this fight and why Tom Aspinall is the true king of the heavyweight division. Get ready to rethink what you thought you knew, because the story you've heard about the greatest fighter ever might be missing some very important and unsettling truths. Everyone loves an underdog story, and Tom Aspinall's quick rise to challenging for the championship is truly legendary. It's a story that perfectly shows everything we value in combat sports: pure determination, a strong belief in himself, and the sheer bravery to take a chance when everyone is watching. Do you remember UFC 295? The night of November 11th, 2023, forever marked in UFC history at Madison Square Garden? Just 1 minute and 9 seconds. That's all it took for Tom Aspinall to step into the octagon, face one of the most feared knockout artists in the heavyweight division, and deliver a crushing blow that won him the interim UFC heavyweight championship. This wasn't a championship fight planned months in advance with lots of training. It was a last-minute call, a terrifying challenge that most fighters would have avoided. It was an unexpected situation that would make even the bravest people think twice. But Aspinall didn't hesitate. He didn't make excuses. He simply said yes, trusting in his abilities and the hard work he had put into his sport. This moment wasn't just about winning a title. It was about proving that sometimes the most dangerous fighter in the room is the one nobody saw coming, the one who rises when least expected. It showed his willingness to risk everything on himself, a risk that paid off in an amazing way. But what really sets Aspinall apart from other heavyweight fighters, what gives him an almost unfair advantage that can't be taught in a gym or developed through fitness programs, isn't just his brute strength or his clear toughness, it's his unmatched speed. In a division usually known for raw power and often slow, devastating knockouts, where fighters frequently move slowly like freight trains and skillful striking sometimes takes a backseat to sheer, blunt force, Tom Aspinall brings something completely different to the table. He moves like a middleweight fighter stuck in a heavyweight's body. His hand speed is amazing for someone his large size. His footwork is excellent for the division, and his incredible ability to close the distance and create angles is almost unheard of among fighters weighing over 240 pounds. This isn't just a physical trait, it's a game-changing factor, a unique weapon that changes the usual way heavyweight fighting works. This is why well-known analysts like Teddy Atlas are now confidently saying that the Jon Jones you saw against Stipe Miocic will absolutely not be the Jon Jones who would face Tom Aspinall. Why? Because Stipe, despite his legendary status and impressive record, was, by his own admission and Aspinall's sharp observation, simply too slow. And Aspinall, with a brutally honest, almost surprising frankness, pointed out that even Jon Jones seemed to be moving at a slower pace in that fight. He confidently claims that those spinning moves, those creative strikes that impressed commentators and fans, those brilliant moments from Jones, none of them would have landed against him because he simply wouldn't have been in a position to be hit by them. That's a bold claim, a very confident statement, but when you see Aspinall's smooth movements, his explosive power, and his amazing ability to react and avoid, it becomes harder and harder to disagree. This isn't arrogance, it's a fighter making a careful judgment based on his own top-level physical abilities and powerful fighting style. The truth is, with youth often comes an unmatched quickness that can cause serious problems for older, larger fighters, and Aspinall embodies that truth perfectly. So, with Tom Aspinall directly calling him out, stating with strong confidence, "I just think I'm better than you. I just know that I can beat you in a fight, so I'm coming for it." You'd expect Jon Jones, who calls himself the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, the man who has always sought challenges and built his legacy, to jump at the chance to prove him wrong, right? Wrong. Jones's response to the direct question about fighting Tom Aspinall was perfectly clear, brutally honest, and fundamentally a complete rejection. He does nothing for me. He does nothing for me. This wasn't just a negotiation tactic, nor was it a subtle way to create interest or push up his asking price. This was a clear, definite refusal. He then went on to explain his reasoning, giving an almost clinical look into his thoughts and revealing the careful calculations that go into choosing fights at the highest, most legacy-driven levels of the sport. Aspinall, he argued, is indeed younger, significantly bigger, and potentially more dangerous, and because casual fans might not fully appreciate his skills, a victory over him, in Jones's view, wouldn't significantly improve his already legendary legacy in the way that other, more established fights might. From Jones's point of view, fighting Tom Aspinall is a high-risk, low-reward situation. But then, the true colors started to show, and the gloves really came off. Aspinall, no longer being polite, no longer holding back with respectful call-outs, delivered the ultimate British insult. Calling Jones a fanny, a term in British slang that is one of the most insulting possible, suggesting weakness, cowardice, and a complete lack of bravery. And he didn't just say it, he stood by it, stating, "I stand by that." He went on to paint a vivid, unflattering picture, claiming Jones was sitting at home, praying he'd lose that fight against Curtis Blades, describing him with almost funny precision as having Cheeto fingers and Doritos on his fingers, desperately waiting for Aspinall to get knocked out so he could start tweeting about it. And when Aspinall won, impressively silencing his critics and proving once again that he belongs at the top of the division, complete silence. Jon Jones said nothing. That silence, perhaps more than any insult, speaks volumes. It's not just about cold, calculated business decisions. It's about a champion who deep down knows he's facing a real, terrifying threat and is desperately trying to protect his carefully built legacy, even if it means avoiding the fight everyone wants to see. Aspinall's psychological warfare paints a picture of Jones as someone who has become comfortable, no longer the hungry competitor he once was, more interested in protecting his past achievements than in facing the challenges of the present. Aspinall's accusations don't stop there, they get even more specific and revealing. He strongly believes that Jones and UFC President Dana White are actively holding the belt hostage, creating a deliberate story that keeps the focus completely on Jon Jones's undeniable past greatness and his legacy, while cleverly avoiding the urgent question of when he will actually defend his heavyweight title against the rightful interim champion. Aspinall observes almost frustratedly that in almost every interview, every casual conversation, regardless of the initial topic, the discussion somehow always returns to how amazing Jon Jones is, how dominant he has been, and how unmatched his achievements are, effectively distracting from the interim champion who is actively and spectacularly dominating the division. If he's that good. Aspinall demands with simple, undeniable logic, "Let's fight." It's a demand that strongly resonates with fans, a call for athletic merit to be more important than promotional stories. This analysis of how Jones and White interact is fascinating, suggesting a planned effort to maintain a certain image. And then there's the big unspoken issue, the uncomfortable, undeniable truth about Jon Jones's history of multiple failed drug tests. Aspinall, with an almost chilling, straightforward manner that cuts through any boasting, directly addressed this issue, which remains a dark mark on Jones's otherwise brilliant career. "I know there are some tricky supplements out there." Aspinall acknowledges, giving Jones the benefit of the doubt for a first offense. "If it's a tainted supplement, whatever, they investigate it, you're fine." Fair enough. But then he delivers the devastating criticism. "But if you're talking 2, 3, 4, 5 times and they're still letting you fight in a promotion, you're a pretty sick individual in my opinion." These aren't just personal attacks or baseless trash talk. They are direct challenges to the very foundation of Jones's legendary status and his credibility as an athlete. They get to the heart of a basic question. Were those dominant victories, those seemingly unmatched performances, achieved fairly on a level playing field? Was the man being hailed as the greatest of all time truly earning that title through clean competition or through the unfair advantage of chemical enhancement? These are serious accusations based on public records and documented by the very organizations overseeing the sport, and they cast a long, lingering shadow over Jones's legacy that is impossible to dismiss as just talk. The irony of the situation only grows when Jon Jones, despite all his confident claims that Aspinall is irrelevant, despite his strong statements that the fight does nothing for him and makes no business sense, cannot help but engage in childish social media trolling after Aspinall suffers an accidental eye poke at UFC 300. Jones, in a move that seemed almost below someone of his standing, updated his Instagram profile picture by adding an eye patch to his dog avatar shortly after Aspinall got a bad eye poke from Cyril Gain. It was a petty, almost childlike move, the kind of social media jab that seems completely out of place for someone who is supposed to be a calm, dominant, legacy-focused champion. But it also revealed something very important. Jones was watching. He was paying attention. Despite all his protests, all his dismissals, he was clearly interested in Aspinall's career and actively looking for chances to mock him. The sheer hypocrisy of Jon Jones, of all people, making fun of someone for an eye poke is almost too perfect to be accidental. Jones himself has been widely accused throughout his career of deliberately using eye pokes as a tactic, of extending his fingers towards opponents' faces, using the very threat of eye pokes to control distance and make opponents cautious and uncomfortable. For him to now mock an opponent who suffered an accidental eye poke shows either a remarkable, almost unbelievable lack of self-awareness or a deliberate, calculated attempt at psychological warfare, a sign that Aspinall has annoyed him more than he wants to admit. Ultimately, Aspinall makes his strongest and most convincing argument by directly comparing their past records and recent achievements. While Jon Jones, in his highly anticipated heavyweight debut, fought Stipe Miocic, yes, a legendary former champion, but one who was 42 years old and hadn't competed in years, showing clear signs of inactivity and age, Aspinall has been systematically, brutally, and spectacularly destroying the best active heavyweights in the division. He first defeated Sergey Pavlovich, who was on a terrifying knockout streak and considered by many to be the most dangerous striker in the division. He then annihilated Cyril Gain, who was widely regarded as one of the most skillful and elusive strikers in heavyweight history. And he didn't just beat them, he absolutely destroyed them, finishing both elite contenders in a combined time of just 2 minutes and 7 seconds. He's having an amazing career. Aspinall admits about Jones, acknowledging his overall greatness, but not in the heavyweight division. "I'm the top guy at heavyweight." Not him. Aspinall's argument is straightforward, logical, and incredibly convincing. Jon Jones may have had an amazing career overall, and his legacy in the light heavyweight division is definitely secure, but in the heavyweight division, what has he really accomplished? One fight against an aging, inactive Stipe Miocic. Meanwhile, Aspinall has been consistently active, completely dominant, and has defeated multiple top-level, in their prime contenders in truly spectacular fashion. He has undeniably earned his place at the very top of the heavyweight division. So, the crucial lingering question remains, will Jon Jones ever step into the octagon with Tom Aspinall? Or will Aspinall, simply by existing as the undeniable legitimate #1 contender, force Jon Jones to retire without even fighting him, simply by being too young, too fast, too dangerous, and too clearly superior for Jones to risk his carefully protected legacy? The evidence, the strategic statements, the public behavior, and the clear difference in their recent heavyweight performances all point to a champion who is cleverly avoiding a real, terrifying threat. What do you think? Has Jones truly lost his competitive fire, choosing to protect his legacy instead of facing the toughest challenges? Or is there a more complex strategy at play that we're missing? Let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And if you want to dive deeper into more explosive analyses and uncover the untold stories behind the biggest fights, make sure to click on one of the cards on your screen to watch more videos like this. Don't miss out on understanding the layers of the fight game.